Content warning. Echo can be an emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Echo contains themes of an adult nature, including violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. Viewer discretion is advised. Are animals more resilient to Black Widow spider bites?
Probably.
Huh. The otter closes his eyes, letting out a long exhale. Meanwhile, Auntie stands up, heading towards the door. I'll smash the otter. He's good. He is cute. He's the main character, and is also also problematic. He's like, not every character here is so problematic. Like the otter, the main character, is not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I still hate that fucking goatee. I'm sorry. I really am, but it looks kind of weird on him because like he can't grow a goatee like that unless he dyed it. I need to speak with Mark and see what he's found. I'll be outside. Thanks. Uh-huh. So long, sugar. I love her voice. It's such sweet. It's like sweet butter or like slow molasses. Just dripping down on a nice hot pancakes on a nice sunny day. As she leaves, I can hear the rumble of engines and hushed murmurs from the small crowd. Then the door shuts. It's quiet again. What's wrong with you, Chase? I try to keep my voice steady, though my vocal cords shrill a bit as I say his name. I practiced for years to get rid of the girly, gay tinge in my voice and after puberty, but times like this I can't really hide it. Are you like fucking sociopath or something? Are you getting off on this? You're just gonna go home and come thinking about all the pain you caused? Daxton flinches. I can tell he wants to step in Chase's defense. Chase says nothing. I can understand you screwing me over, you know. I originally figured you didn't give two shits about Sydney or what happened to him. You just wanted my dick, and that's fine. You followed me back at the river because that's all you wanted. Leo and the rest of your friends be damned. But fuck, it was so much worse. Just admit it. Just say the words, please. No. What? Chase's arms and legs shake as he sits on the floor, craning his neck to look up at me. You're saying you didn't do it despite what TJ said? He looks towards the door. You're an asshole, Flynn. He speaks, his voice still having that squeaky, prepubescent cadence to it. But Sydney was a freaking evil idiot, and I'm glad he died. You're glad you killed him?
Oof.
I'm glad he died. That's no secret. Daxton's looking two parts tense and awkward, steps further away from the otter. Chase's eyes begin to well up. He looks so weak, but brimming with emotions. Salamander mutters something about checking on the commotion outside and heads outward. The noise from the parking lot is getting louder. I hadn't really noticed. Someone shouts about something and I hear someone speaking quickly, trying to calm them down. A long silence follows. Carl's like a statue beside the desk, unmoving, not daring to risk drawing attention to himself. Those last 6 months before it happened, it wasn't him anymore. Or at least, not fully him. What do you mean? You remember that one time he got Toby that ice cream cone from around the corner shop in Payton? The cactus-themed place that had the agave ice cream? I pause. It's such a weirdly specific thing that it takes me a moment to recall. It's also fucking strange hearing Chase call TJ Toby again. He teased him the whole car ride up and he was upset like usual. Sydney brought him that strawberry waffle cone scoop, the one with the pointy end. He felt guilty, I think, for a while. Toby was talking about Sunday school or something, and Sydney just took the cone and started trying to stab him with the pointed end. It just crushed in on itself, but he wouldn't stop. Like he was super into it. Then he just acted like he was scared. Not of getting punished or anything, but like just in general, you know? I remember that. The shop manager was yelling at him and he looked terrified. I told him not to worry about the townies. My teenage self thought it was hilarious. Do you remember the moment he decided to do that? The look on his face? It was like a... Chase clutches at his neck some more, the otter clenching his eyes shut. A thing was in front of him. Chase just gesticulates in front of his head, making a swirling motion before letting both arms drop limply on the ground. Jesus. It's like I just woke up from a really long, really bad dream. I haven't been myself in a freaking long time. Out of the corner of my vision, I could see Carl looking at me. The same shit was happening to Sydney after what happened to you? But fuck, I didn't see you do any of that shit until this week. I don't know. I just had bad dreams at first. Sometimes I'd see the stuff from my dreams in the real world. I kind of just numbed myself to it. And Leo helped me keep my mind off of things, I guess. He looks over to Carl. Then we went to college, and it wasn't so bad. I stopped taking my medication, and things felt a little better, I guess. Not great. I was still all hollow, but at least I wasn't seeing the demented crap at the end of my bed anymore. Chase takes a drink from his water bottle, cringing at the pain from each gulp. I don't know what to say. I was beginning to think I was going nuts, like I was seeing shit that wasn't real, but hearing him talk about it out loud, just like Sydney, that weird look he'd have before looking upset or scared or doing something real heinous shit. And Chase was doing it while ordering fucking brunch. I'm sorry. Something's wrong with me, or I don't know. Yes, we can add that to the checklists of things to ask your aunt about. Chase begins to stand up groggily. What? The front door is pushed open, and Jenna is standing in the doorway. Guys, you should get out here. She spots Chase steadying himself against the desk, her eyes widening as her ears flick back momentarily. Oh, Chase, you're here! And where are your clothes? There's spiders in them. Oh, wrong voice. There's spotters in them. Okay, just get out here. Jenna heads back out. Chase pushes himself off the desk, beginning to walk forward like a zombie from one of those old VHS films we used to watch. Whoa, man! Don't you have like some spare touristy stuff from around here somewhere? Do you seriously think Echo gets enough tourists to justify merchandise? I just need to get back to the motel. Clinic first. The otter stumbles. As I get a message. The otter stumbles a bit, and though with some hesitation, Carl and I take him by each shoulder and help him to the door. I make sure to grab my rifle, though. You still didn't answer my question. Chase says nothing. We exit City Hall and are instantly greeted by a slew of faces. Hey, new character. Who are you? A bat and a raccoon. I know you hot piece of mess. But like, the bat's interesting. Micah. I'll give the southern accent. This is a load of fresh shit, you know that? What do you mean when you say we can't leave? Everyone seemed to be gathered around the front of the entrance, the headlights from the half-dozen cars lighting up as we exit. Most eyes are on Auntie. The air has this sort of smoky tinge to it, like someone's cooking something. I wonder if it's from the fire I saw earlier. Y'all come here because you wanted answers. Now are you going to listen to them or not? I recognize most people here in the crowd. Janice, Duke, Kudso, Micah, Heather, Mark. Shit, about a dozen more. Some of them look downright terrified. Others, like Micah, the klepto shithead from Tintanis Alley, just looks pissed, agitated by whatever the hell Auntie was saying. I can see Duke, the old widower who lives next to Leo, somewhere back by his car. He's not looking at my aunt anymore. He's fixated on Chase with this sort of 1,000-yard stare. No, not again. I see Leo lumbering figure. At the side, he pushes his way through. Otter! Leo beams, wrapping Chase up in his arms, seeming uncaring that half of the town was behind him. I see Chase's face contort, the otter grimacing. He seems more disgusted than pained, especially as Leo begins to rub his large hands along his backside. You didn't need to run away. You know that I'm here.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I'm inwardly cringing right now. Like, Chase manages to wriggle free, nearly stumbling back into the prickly pear cactus in the process. Leo catches him, holding onto his wrists. There's a long moment where Leo is just looking at Chase's face, his expression shifting from the wide smile to a more vacant stare. I got bit by a black widow. I'm okay now, but you grew your goatee back. How did that happen? Huh? What? Chase's eyes widen some and clutches at the ratty-looking tuft of dyed fur on his chin. Haha, he called it ratty.
Lol.
That's a shame. I always thought you looked cuter without. That's a shame. You always look cuter when you were blonde. Okay.
Why do you subject yourself to this torture?
Because I like the game. Dude, what the hell's happening? Leo is too real. They made him so real. Like, he's so real to me that, like, every other person on the Reddit thinks I'm lying. Like, they can't believe that someone like Leo is actually real.
No, someone like that exists.
Auntie begins to speak up. Let's talk plain like. Most of y'all are seeing things, bad things. And some folk around here started acting real strange. More so than usual suspects on their bouts with their happy juice. And nobody's getting any tower or satellite signals from the phones and the internets. Landline's fuzzy too. A couple of people nod. Mike is now looking over his shoulder, seemingly unfocused on what Auntie's saying. Mark tried to head off to Peyton to see if the county office knew what's going on. He got about as far as Flint turned off before he found himself on the old Route 65 leading back into town. He tells me he tried 3 times to get through. No luck. Now, I would have slapped him on the head with a roll of newspaper and told him to take his clown into the circus if I hadn't heard the same sort of thing from my grandpa decades ago. Folk traveling in buggies trying to escape the madness of this town, but they got snared into one hell of a web. If you've been thinking your dreams have been getting real queer-like as of late, you ain't alone. It's been getting worse. Also, in this term, queer, in their term, most likely means weird. They're using that as a term of weird. Honestly, I was packing up my bags to get out of here before it hit. I wasn't ready to leave. I remember telling Auntie I wanted to stay for Carl's interview, but I wanted to also see if I could get to the bottom of this shit with TJ too. So you're saying there's no way out? That we're in, what, an inescapable bubble? Sweetheart, it's like the tide. It goes in, it's pulled out. And sometimes it pulls stuff with it. My grandpa, God rest his soul, told me it was attracted to the uncouthness of man and the ires and desires with which we cannot unshackle ourselves. Simple sin. A mournful look crosses her face and she takes a deep breath. Mark, she looks over to the horned Toad, our town's treasurer. Can we see how he looks like? He's standing by his black 4-door SUV because we just saw a bat furry. I always made fun of him for buying it. Black cars in the desert ain't a good mix unless you're keen on baking. He reaches into the car and pulls out a lumpy something wrapped in flamboyantly colored beach towel. I recognize the faded logo in the corner as the one from the Southwestern Adventures. An old souvenir, maybe? Mark herks as he steps forward with the mare with it, setting it on the ground. The first thing I see are feet sticking out the end. Someone in the back, Heather, I think, screams. It's a banshee, like a whale as Mark pulls back the fabric. It's not Keith. At first, it's difficult to tell exactly what I'm looking at, but after a few moments, I can see clearly who it is. Oh God, don't tell me we're gonna see it. Oh God!
That's a
Oh my God!
It's a pig.
That's a pig, but like, I need a moment. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that's so graphic.
Didn't you? You know what?
No, I didn't. All I saw was the spider thing.
No, I'm talking about your old job. Did you
They
see
were-
worse at that place?
No, people died there. Yes, people. Like I worked on like people who try to pull their catheters out, but this. There's lacerations on him, his eyes are gone, and it looks like there's teeth shoved up his nose.
I repeat. Okay.
Fuck you, Arden. And I mean that endearingly.
I'm inert to this kind of stuff.
I know. God. That's...
I've told you what my dreams are like, yeah?
No! That's Salem. No. Also, this bitch, they're like, it's Keith. No, it's Salem. Jesus. No. TJ begins to sob, his terrified sniffles mixing with Heather's confused shrilled cry. Yeah, we're keeping Leo's concerned face on the screen. We're not showing this on Twitch.
No. It is a cadaver.
It is a literal cadaver. The boar is covered in lacerations, most of which are on his face. 2 swipes of whatever cut him seem to have torn his eyes and part of his snout. I always thought that when someone had their eyes taken out, it would just be black holes inside, but it's pink.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking into the guy, because like it's a cavern.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the guy's brain. I feel like I'm gonna hurl. All right, it's gone. What?
Hey, Kuts is here.
What happened? He tried to leave. Yeah, but how did that happen? The raccoon, who at this point I've never seen as anything but the strong, silent type, looks shaken up and bad. I love this raccoon. They honestly need more art of him. All I saw was 4. 3 of them were his nudes, and then 1 of them was him like giving a hug behind Chase's back. That was literally it. He clutches his forehead with his paws, shaking his head. God, for a second he looked like someone else. I barely know Salem. He's a recent move-in who originally squatted on a vacant land in an RV until the landowner started making him pay to live there. He kept to himself, never even said 2 words to the guy. That's an accomplishment when you're stuck in a town with about 50 people still living here. Mark tells me that the 3rd time he tried to leave, he saw him just laying there on the side of the road next to his RV, dead as a doorknob. So to answer your question, whoa, I'm not that specific word I can't say on Twitch. I get he's a raccoon, but like I can't say that. I don't
say raccoon boy.
But so to answer your question, Cudso, I don't know.
There you go.
These things always end, but there's no clear definition of when or how. I advise, as all I do in all these trying times, to turn to the higher power, pray and repent as you may. I hate religious people. There's a shocked silence for those present. Daxton keeps shaking his head, Jenna trying her phone again. Micah stares off into the dark in the direction of the highway. Oh, this is a hillbilly voice. I'm back. I know how to make the vision stop. The weasel steps up to Auntie, though he's not looking at her. Yeah? What's your proposal, Duke? He points a pink finger towards Chase. We stop him! Chase sort of half blinks and his bloodshot eyes aimed all unfocused like the scruffy weasel. What? I can't discern who's that voice coming from. This has happened all before. He looked towards Auntie, who nods inquisitively. And it's only gonna get worse. It happened to my granddaddy, my daddy, and now it happened to me. Well, me and the rest of y'all. Dale's missing, Cynthia drove off into the desert, Clint and Jeremy are running around shooting and screaming at nothing. This thing is, we got something after us. Something bad. Won't let y'all leave when it starts. What's after you? The raspy voice bat chimes up, still looking off into the desert, away from the crowd. Duke's quiet for a moment, rolling a handmade cigarette between his thumb and index finger. It's always triggered by something. Duke begins to pace, still pointing at Chase. I seen you here last week, before all the rest of y'all little friends showed up. Late at night, outside his house. He nods in Leo's direction, the wolf clasping Chase's shoulder protectively. Just standing there for hours and hours. I didn't even need to be asleep to see you. Last line rings strange. Duke saying it as if he makes perfect sense. Chase's gaze shifts to his feet, his legs beginning to tremble. Hey, I'm not saying you did it, or that yes, you were wanting this all to happen. He steps over Salem's body, approaching the altar. It's just you gotta know something. Anything that we can use to stop this. Cause anytime I pass big old Leo over here, he just got this glazed look in his eyes telling me where I can stick my inquiries. That doesn't make sense. Well, someone told me that you would know. It's at this point I see a black metallic shape sticking out of the back of the weasel's trousers. He's got a gun. Daxon flinches, seeing it too. Oh shit, he mutters, and I feel Carl step closer against me. Who? Someone I know! He yells, leaning in closer to Chase. Leo steps completely in front of him, ears down with his fangs bared. It makes sense. Something bad happens, and if you don't fix it, it won't stop coming after you. Leo lets out a deep and guttural rumble, looking like a pharaoh ready to pounce. Duke holds up his paws, smiling uneasily. This is a real timely with your friends showing up. So what happened, Chase? I don't know what you're talking about. Auntie exchanged a glance with Mark, then they both look to Chase, seemingly unconcerned that Duke is packing. Things are getting worse out here, and unless we do something, we're all gonna end up like young Salem. Duke's voice is dead and distant. He's right. Huh? Auntie's voice cuts through the air like a knife. Next thing I know, her and Mark are stepping up besides Duke. Flynn, come here. My heart lurches at hearing my name called, and I strain myself to keep a straight face. I try not to look at the body as I walk up, feeling my backside illuminated by a dozen headlights in the gaze of the crowd. You locked Chase in the reading room with all them spiders. Why? You what? Didn't know about the spiders at the time. I mumble. Flynn? She looks away for a moment. No! What the fuck is this?
Ooh.
No! 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 We just got over this! What in goddamn hell is this? Fuck it! Pretty sure he killed Sydney. I clutch my head, the blood in my veins feeling cold. It's as if the gravel beneath my feet is turning to quicksand. My mouth moves as if to say more, but I manage to bite my tongue. This makes the pain worse. What the fuck is happening? I can see Jenna covering her face with both paws, seeming in disbelief that it's really happening. There's a few murmurs from the gathering. Micah looks back at us, seemingly distracted from whatever was in the desert that he was staring at. You're talking about your little friend who drowned in the lake a decade ago? Yeah. Wow. Wow, kid. He clicks his tongue, shaking his head at the bed-wrangled looking otter. That's kind of fucked up. Chase starts to look at TJ again, as if the urge of breaking down to sobs. He seems to be alternating from angry, sad, and confused over and over again. It's bullshit. You know it, Flynn. You killed Sydney, you fucker. The pain flares, my vision blurring for a second. That's not true. I highly doubt that, lover boy. I'll beat your asses if you keep telling lies, yeah? He grins, eyeing the rifle in my hands. I clutch it more tightly. Duke turns, thumbing towards the wolf. It's already got him. It's already got him. He speaks with an idle nonchalance, not bothering to clarify what it is. Sydney died 10 years ago. This doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, this sort of murder happened before. My grandpappy lived through the whole thing and stayed in town after. Yeah, that's right. It happened weeks after the body was found. Auntie rubbed her thumb through her floral-scented scarf into the headlights of one of the old Jeeps. The one in the mines. The air got all electric and fuzzy. Folks went out of their heads. She never talked about any of this before. How do you know that? Brett gabbed about it a lot. Brett gabbed about it a lot when you were a youngin', and even before you were born. Dad. The whole superstition was part of the justification for making Like a library and book in it. Well, that and one other reason. I tried to ignore the last comment, still focusing on the increasingly tense stare down between Leo, Chase, and Duke. I heard my mom and dad hated Echo, mainly the usual grumblings and godlessness. Any ailments they had were surely the fucking result of some latent sin. Point is, the ground beneath our feet is tainted soil, rotten, shaky loam. Duke interrupts, and Auntie doesn't seem to mind. She's just frowning now, looking to the crowd of people. Her scarves come undone due to all the fidgeting, and all the old scars she has beneath are visible, tattered scales replaced with pink flesh. It's more rotten in places. You know, y'all know the ones. My grandpappy thought it was because they didn't catch the murderer. They planted some of the seeds in the bad dirt. But that ain't true. Duke rubs at the scab along his forehead, squeezing his cigarette so hard that the ash starts pouring out the other side like toothpaste. They caught him all right. Then everything was okay for a while after they found him, and he was killed. What the fuck does that have to do with Sydney? Duke continues ignoring me. So I don't know what it is, if it's murder, guilt, or not catching someone that did wrong. I shake my head. I can't believe this shit. Sydney's not fucking haunting the town, you meth-addled cunt.
Not a meeting. Be right back.
Okay. But it started when you got here. So you gotta forgive me for wondering if one of you did something bad. He was a fucking 9-year-old. And brought that guilt back to this poison land to grow the seeds again. Duke doesn't sound like himself at all.